How many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to the zoo. It's Sunday Night Live. Welcome back in. Here we go. We've got a week load of bullshit coming at us, but it's only Sunday night. Oh, there's more, folks. You don't have to wait. I don't have to say, but wait, there's more. It's already here. I've got just a massive chuck of crap to go over with you guys. Everything, folks, political, military, international, national, medical, everything I can. Now, hey, should we be surprised? Shit at the fan way, way, way back. And we're just slugging our way through it. Now, I want to let everyone know, remind everyone, hey, look, I put out the link for this video at 5:30 so that everyone has a chance to be prepared. That is, get it tuned in, get it turned on, get seated, get comfortable. Make sure you've got your favorite drink at hand. I've got some fine imported Scottish water here. But, you know, that's why I do that. A lot of people sign in and go, well, where the hell is he? I guess he's not prepared. No, I'm giving everyone a chance to show up early. Be ready. We have a ton of stuff to go over. But this is Sunday Night Live. This is the zoo. And I'm coming at you live from the safety of my bunker. I don't think Antifa could get in here. I don't think BLM could get in here. I don't even think a Moab could get in here. That's right, folks. A mother of all bombs. I am buried deep in the bunker. One moment. All right, there we go. Now I got a special message going out to the boys at Fort Benning. You've got a special direct line here. If Mike wants to text in, if you guys are on the line today. Otherwise, this is what we're doing, folks. This is Sunday Night Live. This is your chance to be famous, to come out, to ask questions directly. We've got our Patreon crowd, who are the backbone of the Prepared Mind Network. And then we've got YouTube, which is wild and crazy. And when we put you all together, it's called the zoo. Right? That's what we do, folks. We get it on. We've got a lot to talk about. But this is basically your show. And like I said, I've got a fucking list of stuff. Right, I come back out of the wildlands, come back to the sanctity of the bunker, look at what's going on, put together a huge show, and then I go, wait a minute, it's your show. You guys get to ask. So, you know, read this stuff down here. It tells you what to do, right? Sunday Night Live is your show. How do you get your questions on? We do a marathon Q&A. And I like to do an hour, no, chalk back the bus up on that, 2 hours, folks. I like to do 2 hours minimum on Sunday Night Live. Hit the super chat button up here, bam, hit that, you throw in your donation. I read your question, I read your comment, I read your statement. Now, there are a couple of topics that I know I'm not allowed to discuss. Even the words appearing on the screen could cause someone at YouTube headquarters of some social media giant to lose their shit, probably start crying, have to run for a teddy bear to hug it, because they're that weak, folks. These social justice warriors are that weak. I know that you can take it. I know you can handle the truth, but YouTube is still saying, no, we can't have any, not every topic is on the board. So I'll do my very best to answer. Sometimes we use special code words, so you got to kind of read between the lines. Sometimes you got to read between the lines with what I'm saying. Now, for you new folks here, welcome to the show. For you old salty dogs, hey, look, help the new guys out, be polite, bring them up to speed on how things work. And again, right, you folks on Patreon and on YouTube, what is your responsibility here besides feeding your own mind? It's helping bring people to an understanding that, yeah, number one, shit has hit the fan. Number two, you can do something about it. You get prepared, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. And then you prep to action. And people are doing it, folks. They're out there right now. Yeah, they're out there prepping. And they're starting to take action. They're texting, they're calling, they're showing up at rallies, they're protesting, letting the government know, hey, it's my right to redress a grievance. It's right there in the First Amendment. You can actually read that. Unlike things like, I don't know, the right to abortion, which is not in there. They can read that, but they don't want to hear that we're allowed to speak freely. They're trying to silence us, censor us, and tell us, oh, no, you can't argue with the government. Government is always right. And government is using private institutions, which I think provides the nexus by which the First Amendment applies in corporate matters. That is, they're not private businesses. When corporations like, I don't know, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter have been funded with government money, receive instructions from government personnel, whether it's a suggestion or an order, I think that ends their immunity and their ability to censor us. But who am I, right? What the fuck do I know? I'm just a regular guy, right? It doesn't matter that I've studied law. All I do is pound nails, in my life. I don't know shit, right? You don't know shit. We're all supposed to be stupid and just living on every word that comes from 90 Proof Nancy's collagen injected lips. Blah. Crazy stuff. Anyways, folks, let's get to it. We got some super chats to start the show with. And then every now and then I may just have to talk about some of my own stuff. But welcome back to the zoo. Sunday Night Live. The week is essentially started. In fact, it doesn't really end anymore. We just take a little fucking break, get a breather, and then back on our heads, right? It's an old joke. All right, break time's over, back on your heads, and you're standing in a foot of shit. All right, we got Steve, USMC No Tolerance. Steve is our resident Vietnam veteran, Marine Corps, Semper Fi brother, and I'm glad you had a great weekend with your grandson. That is awesome. He says this, still in a good mood after this week, and now wreck it, LOL. Oh, we're going to wreck the fuck out of it, Steve. And I hope everything is well up north. And I want to remind everyone, while the South has more freeness, right? There's a bigger recognition by local governments and state governments that we actually have a constitution. Not only a federal constitution, but state constitutions that have very strict rules for the government and very expansive concepts for the freedom of us, the people. First and Second Amendments at the state level. Oh, you bet, folks. You bet. So Steve, yeah, you bet, brother. I'm not here to wreck it on purpose, but I'm here to bring you back down, right? It's hard coming down off of cloud 9, man. And I know you were there. I wish more people could get to cloud 9, at least for a little while. All right, here we go. Let's get into it. We got Frankie Rios with a 5.52 donation into the GTFB and SB. That's the Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back. Well, here I am. I got back, folks, and I'm staying back here in the continental United States of America. And he says, hey, D-Dog. That's for Devil Dog. That's another Marine Corps name we have for each other. He says, it's been go time as far as I'm concerned. It is an invasion. I don't know which invasion you're talking about, man. Are you talking about the invasion at the southern border from illegals, not only from Mexico, but other countries, not only from other Central American countries, but an invasion from Haiti? Are you talking about the invasion from Afghanistan? All of these unvetted, unchecked, how could we even fucking know Afghanis who's got over like 100,000 of them? 95,000? How many tens of thousands of Afghanis came over without papers? Without papers. WOP. That used to be a name that was called to one ethnic group, but those days are over. Now we have to be all politically correct and shit. So yeah, who else are you talking about the invasion? Are you talking about the communist invasion in our academic system, in our legal system, in our political system, through the mainstream media? Which invasion are you talking about, man? Because we're getting it. on many fronts. Thank you very much, Frankie Rios. Oh, he says, oh, when tyranny becomes law, resistance becomes duty. Oh, God bless you, man. That is a great quote. There are so many quotes, folks, about tyranny, about despotism, about overreaching, overbearing, tyrannical government. Why is that so, Frankie? Why is it so? Let me tell you why. Because it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon throughout all of human history. It's not uncommon in the civilized world, where it can become very uncivil very quickly. It's not uncommon even in our Western world. That is to say, European, Anglo-American empire, right? That has blossomed over the last 500 years, that has brought concepts such as the Industrial Revolution, mass manufacturing, industrial farming that has fed the world, all of these great ideas. But it's also brought with it the implementation of industrialized tyranny. Look at the Nazi war machine. Look at the Soviet war machine. And look at how the Chinese war machine. Those three tyrannical systems, folks. The German one, the Russian one, the Chinese one. Whether you're a fascist or a communist, once you involve socialism and industrial mechanized killing skills and ability, I just told you, folks, the formula for 100 million dead people who are killed by their own governments. All right, let's move on. We got Chester Wolf the Griffin with a $5 super chat donation. Hit that button up there. I'll make you famous. This is what he has to say. Assuming Chester Wolf is a dude. He says, SHTF may hit the east coast of America if that volcano triggers a landslide. It would create a tsunami. It would drown the east coast. Now, what the hell is Chester Wolf talking about? Well, I'll tell you what he's talking about. He's talking about the Canary Islands. When you think volcanoes, folks, you think about our islander brothers out there in Hawaii, down all through the Pacific Ring of Fire, Vanuatu, thank you. And John, could have had a V8. Vanuatu, there's a bunch of active volcanoes all over the Pacific, but folks, we had one pop down there, and they pop from time to time also down in the Caribbean, but we have the Canary Islands. Canary Islands off the coast, right, of Africa, Europe. It's over there, way on that other side of the world. And they're saying that if that thing pops, if it blows, it could cause a massive underwater landslide that could send a tidal wave, a tsunami, if you will, towards the east coast of the United States. Now, thankfully, where I'm at, I can go climb up into the mangroves and get 4 or 5 feet above the water, and I'll be fine. But I'm not on the Atlantic coast. I'm over, up in the swamp zones. I'm on the other side. But it doesn't matter where you're at, folks. We're all at risk. But right now, the Canary Islands have got a lot of people's attention, and they had their attention, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. But here we are again. Just like Hawaii, they're like, uh-oh, the big island of Hawaii, the whole southeast corner could break off when that volcano, right, started oozing lava. It wasn't an explosive volcano, but man, what a mess. I had some friends let me know how that one went, and it's still very active. Crazy world. Thank you, Chester Wolf, for the great $5 super chat donation. We got Steve Bishop checking in. Wow, Steve Bishop from, here he is. He says, howdy from Texas, John. That's a $5 super chat donation. He says, would like to hear your thoughts about the late Robert David Steele. Was he really a good guy? A shill? Controlled opposition? I'll tell you what, Robert David Steele was a whistleblower against the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. That's right, one of those alphabet soup dudes who kind of came over to the good side. He was a whistleblower. If I remember Robert David Steele right, he was like, hey, fuck that. And I'll tell you what, as a Marine, I did a little whistleblowing myself. Did not do my career any good. But hey, who doesn't like to blow a whistle on a bunch of assholes? Still, let's get back to Robert David Steele. He came over, right? He said, I don't like what's going on. Now, the words he spoke, the way he talked about government, abuse, Central Intelligence Agency, the shit they do. He made a lot of very interesting claims. He wrote books. He was a great speaker. These are the things he did. Now, one of the old time sayings, and maybe I'm showing my age here. I know I only look 35, but I'm actually 51. The old saying was, you never really leave the CIA. I think the same was said about the GRU and the KGB and the fucking Stasi and MI6 and Mossad. And yeah, it's a pretty common phrase when it comes to looking at these high level secret agents and secret agencies. So what is my opinion? My thoughts are that even if he was a shill or controlled opposition sent out to mislead and misguide us, even if you need to understand the MO, the modus operandi of these types of people. I had limited experience with them as a Marine. I did some weird shit, but I had limited experience with them. And it's important to note that this is not I'm not releasing any top secret shit. When they speak, when these guys speak, even if they are still working for the CIA or the FBI or the Department of Homeland Security or the GRU, it doesn't matter. They put a lot of truth in what they're saying, and then they put in very specific pieces of misinformation to mislead, to misdirection, to confuse, to confound, to cause doubt, to cause argument, dissent. You never know, right? It's just like, for example, President Trump. People want a good leader. People are afraid of someone who's too good to be true. People look at someone who said he's going to do a great job, and then you can criticize the fuck out of Trump. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he a shill? Is he placed in there? Is he controlled opposition? How do we know for sure? What we do know is that in President Trump's case, he had all kinds of people screwing him in the ass. And I'm pretty sure he didn't like it. I'm pretty sure that no one was supposed to touch any part of him below the waist except Melania. And I'm sure President Trump probably enjoys that. Now, but anyone else, you're not allowed down there, right? You're not allowed to hand fuck them and screw them over, but they did it. They did it. So is he controlled opposition, or was he just being attacked on every side? Is Trump a good guy, or was he a bad guy? Was he 99% good? It's hard to say, folks. But let's get back to Robert David Steele. At the very least, he provided a lot of good information. At the very least, he gave us insights into that sneaky fucking organization, the CIA. They put out a bunch of truth and a lot of lies. Just look at John Brennan, that piece of shit. So there's a lot to, folks, this head full of stuff over the last, 51 fucking years, and whatever else comes in from the universe psychically. It's crazy, folks. Yeah. So that's my opinion. And thank you, Steve, for the great super chat donation. Good guy in a lot of ways. Could have had some sneaky stuff in there. We wouldn't know. How would you fucking know unless you're in the CIA yourself and you know the real facts, right? How could anyone speak about my service time and where I went and what I did unless they were right fucking there with me? No one can. Same with you, right? So you do your very best. I do my best here, and then I say, take a look at the information for yourself. Make your own choices. Get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Have a plan. Know the world around you. Take action on your own behalf. All that stuff I say. Well, Crazy Uncle checks in with a $5 super chat donation. He says, oh, here comes one of these special words, folks. Forced Jim Jones juice in the military is not surprising. After a conflict in the military is scaled down, they are using this to get rid of those who are not NPCs. Okay, what he's talking about is the tequila shot, right? The government, get your tequila shots right here. Line them up. We'll give them to you for free. It's so good, we've got to coerce you into taking it. The military came out and said, oh, yeah, if you want to be in the military, you're going to take the Jim Jones juice, right? You're going to line up and get some zombie sauce. That's what we're saying. And if you don't, you're going to be visited by the three ghosts of Christmas past, right? Which is you're probably your OIC and then your CO, and then you're going to, you're either going to get some NJP and maybe a courts martial. Who knows, right? You could be punished if you don't do as you're voluntarily told to do, or you'll just be discharged. In other words, they're doing all they can to punish and coerce into following them, right? Because I consider following them a fucking punishment, psychologically, philosophically, militarily. But they want, and this is my opinion as well, I want patriots out of the military. Now, having talked to a recruiter several days back, because I get around, folks. Really, I get around as much as I can. Talk to a military recruiter, not going to tell you which branch of service. And I said, how you doing? He says, we're doing okay. We're getting some people in. I said, what is the nature? What is the mental status of these young people? Because they're still doing the same thing. They go talk to high schoolers and anyone under 21, and that's their big target zone, is people in that area. And what I was told is they don't really give a shit about Biden. The ones he was talking to and the ones he is enlisting are men and women who want to serve this country, freedom, liberty, the American way. So it sounds like, at least in his area, that real Americans are still trying to get in, and they don't give a fuck about Biden. They care about their country. Now, a lot of people are saying, you know what? I'm not going in under the Biden administration because they're going to give me unlawful orders. But a lot of them are still going in, and they're going in for the right reasons. Now, I also know young people who are like, there's no fucking way in hell I'm taking the Jim Jones juice. And so you would be, I'm sure that the military at the MEPS level is going to say, hey, look, you want to get in the military? You got to take this shit right here, right? You got to get some zombie sauce in your juice. Scary times, folks. Scary times. Whew. Scary times. To everybody, Semper Fi. I'm going to have a little Scottish water here. Kind of wet the whistle. To all veterans, those who have veterans in their families, everybody, folks. All Semper Fi means, it's the Marine Corps motto. And Jolene got this for me for Christmas years ago. Thank you, Jolene, who's just awesome. Thank you, Man, who's awesome. If you mess with anybody that's got a blue wrench, you will get punted. So if you're a troll, I advise you to start spouting off. Be a dickhead. Give Man a reason. Anyways, gotta love that. Anyways, thank you, everybody. We've been here since December of 2013 talking about SHTF, and we're still here. The message is powerful. And now we have Damian English, who checks in with a $20 super chat. Damian's back. Usually has some really interesting shit to talk about. Let's see what kind of stuff he's got today. He says, hey, John, about your video from Friday in Alaska. This is a massive army base called Fort Richardson, where the 10 ID is stationed. Also across the street is an Air Force base. All the hot Air Force girls gather at the PX. Good times. I think what I said is I don't really know what military we have up there. I never did any cold weather training up there. The Marine Corps really likes to go to Bishop, California to do some high mountain training and some cold weather, but they go up to Alaska as well. I just never went there. They were also doing a lot of training with the Scandinavians, the Norwegians, back in the day. I don't know what they're doing because I just don't have access to the training schedules, but it sounds like Damian does have some knowledge about what's up there. And it was with regard to the topic was the Chinese Navy, what the fuck are they doing up near Alaska? And I'm like, I don't know, right? Alaska really is considered a huge part of our defense, especially from the Cold War, folks. They put a bunch of really fantastic radar systems up there to detect outbound and inbound ICBMs, aircraft, invasion, communications, because it's right across the Bering Strait from Russia. But, you know, this whole over the North Pole shit, come from Russia over to America. It's kind of a shortcut. And so Alaska is really important. They have more than just the HARP system up there, folks. Yeah, they have Air Force, they have Army. Anyways, apparently the hot as fuck girls from the Air Force base gather at the PX, or is that just Alaskan women? I don't know. Alaska is really a frontier still, folks. Incredibly small population, a lot of indigenous people still live there, and it's a wild land. I myself have had enough cold, and that's why I'm down here in the swamps. I've had enough cold. But here we are, and thank you very much, Damon, for that awesome super chat donation. And now we've got Greg Madere on the board with a $10 super chat donation. He says, John, heard today that we have a barrage of asteroids that will start impacting Earth on the 17th of October and continue to grow in size and frequency for 3 months. Your thoughts? There's several times a year that the planet goes through like a debris field of particles from comets, asteroids, and really, frankly, right now I can't remember the name. They're very celestial sounding fields, but this is something that's coming. They've been trying to warn us for years that something is up there. Something is up there. I've got a great book by Graham Hancock on Mars. It was about how Mars was absolutely destroyed. It covered some of Dr. Tom Flandern of the Naval Observatory, his theories on Mars and what happened there. The exploding planet hypothesis came from that. There was actually a planet where Mars is at, and Mars was actually a satellite. Anyways, enough on that. There's a lot of shit in space. In fact, that other planet has become the asteroid belt. And so it kind of makes Earth, Mars, the moon, the other planets, including the big boys, Jupiter and Saturn, we're kind of in a fucking shooting gallery because of the shit that comes crashing through the solar system from time to time. And we've seen some very interesting rocks. Sometimes, and in a couple of cases, they said, why is this asteroid coming into the solar system slowing the fuck down? It does its whole perigee, apogee thing, and then it's gone again, right? In and out. They circle in and out, and I've heard about planet killers. Any chunk of space debris that's more than a mile wide can really cause some big trouble. And they say that the KT boundary event, which was 65 million years ago, where a giant celestial object slammed into what is now Yucatan Peninsula, created the huge global event, blackout that killed the dinosaurs off, the larger dinosaurs. A lot of weird shit. And NASA, years ago, I don't know if you remember this, under the Obama administration, the head of NASA came out and said, everybody, we need you to get prepared and hunker down in our NASA family. And I'm like, dude, how about helping out the rest of the fucking planet rather than just the NASA family? Why don't you tell us what the fuck is possibly coming, you dickhead? Once again, government bureaucrats, self-centered, continuity of government thinking mentality. Fuck everyone else. No one could be as important as the NASA family. I hate the tribal mentality, folks. Yeah, fuck them all. We're preppers. As preppers, we don't say fuck everyone. We say, hey, we're preppers. Maybe you ought to look into it. And if you don't, well, then it's your fault. These guys tell their own to prep and then say, fuck everyone else. Well, anyways, here we go again. We've got the prediction and possibility of more small debris and impacts, which of course, you never know. There could be something larger in there, and it could cause problems. We'll find out. Will they take out some satellites again? Will we have some very colorful things happen in our skies? Oh, I mean, these things are great. Copper burns green and iron burns red. And some of these really, really pretty fucking asteroids are crazy. One time I saw one come straight down. This is when I was out in the high desert. I was over in Nevada. Just this big, giant fucking greenish blue thing just coming straight down and burned up. It could be a good show, or it could cause some bigger problems. Same solution applies to no matter what happens, folks. You need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and even that whole self-defense item. All right. Thank you very much, Greg. Good topic, everyone. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears peeled, right? Keep your hand on the button. Get ready for it. We got Christine B. Hanna. Christine, I'm glad you made it safe. Get yourself situated in place, and I'm glad you found some great resources in your new area. Folks, people are relocating all over this country from bad areas to good areas, from good areas to better areas, to areas that are best for them based on who they are. There is no one way, folks, to get through the coming SHTF. It's where you are, who you are, what you got, what is your age, what is your gender, whatever. It's all very personal. It's all very personal. You get prepared for you, right? You get prepared for you. All right, Christine says this. Hiya, John and the Prepared Mind family. I totally turned my world upside down and learning some lessons in adaptability in conjunction with preparedness. Semper Fi. Always faithful, Christine. Thank you very much. Yeah, she's turned her world upside down, folks. Improvise, adapt, overcome. It's good to know that you're safer, happier, and you're in a new place. And oh yeah, you got a learning curve. Kind of like when I went to the RMZ and things were not as they were supposed to be, including that big giant fucking rooster. That was not there in my initial visit. Anyways, let's do this. Let's take a look at Red Pill Files with a 556 donation. I love that 556. He says, France is pissed about the U.S., Australia, nuclear sub deal. I believe the UK was involved in that as well. US, UK, Australia. It's kind of a three-legged thing. Anyways, France is pissed about this deal. I read this is the end of NATO. Sounds good to me. Thoughts? Okay. I want to talk about this a little bit more, and I've got some tangential, tertiary thoughts on this, if you will. I want to see if I can find it. There's some things, folks, I can't even read the fucking headlines on. And oh, yeah, while we're talking about that, folks, I'm going to let you take a look at our Patreon promo, because there's a lot of people who don't even know what one Patreon is, how it's used, and how it can get you information. Not only uncensored videos, but other information that YouTube doesn't allow. And hopefully, during this quick little message, I can find this article, and we're going to get nasty with Red Pill Files discussion, because it is one hell of a topic, folks. One hell of a topic. Oh, hey. It's just putting this away. All right, folks, here it is. Okay, now, what happened is the U.S. got together with Australia and the United Kingdom, and they did a little, national security thing. And France got fucking pissed. And so Emmanuel Macron, their president, he's a little weaselly fuck. I don't care for him one bit. I like the French people. I took 3 years of French class in high school. And not just because the chicks in that class were really hot. Or maybe. But here's the deal. France has been a very important ally. I know that we love to make a lot of jokes about France, about Italy and World War II, and we love that stuff. But they are a fantastic ally, France. And they got pissed. Now, you know, fuck Macron, okay? He's a turd. But France, the country, the people, the attitude, the culture, well, what's left of it that the government hasn't fucking destroyed by importing un-French things and allowing them to fester like cancers. Okay, back on target, John. Back on target. Calm down. Stay on target. Stay on target. You guys know that one. France said, you know what? Fuck you. And the first thing they did was cancel a diplomatic ball that was to be held and hosting France in the United States in Washington, D.C. And the French said, you know what? Fuck you. We're not coming. And now this, France has recalled their ambassador to the United States over what Biden has done by excluding the French from a very important defensive system. It sounds like France doesn't want to be friends with the United States anymore. That's not good. This is not good for international relations. They would have been far better off having me, right, talk to the French and talk to the English and talk to everybody than for Biden and their fucking ilk, who are doing nothing but destroying America and destroying our international alliances. This stupid Biden motherfucker, you know, the president, Gigi Biden, not only abandoned the Afghan people, abandoned our military bases and our $85 billion in military hardware, from the lowest little piece of uniform up to high technology helicopters, ordnance, including drones, not to mention, I don't know how many fucking thousands of weapons and millions of rounds of ammunition. The stupid bastards, right? They also abandoned our allies. They pulled up stake and screwed our allies. That is countries like Australia, England, Germany. Oh yeah, and France, were they part of this screw you thing? So not only did we have that screw you thing known as Afghanistan, hashtag premature pullout, now we have this, right? Well, let's just follow that up and spit in the face of the French yet again. Now, is this the end of NATO? Now, my problem, NATO is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO was put together and called NATO so that the United States and Canada could be included in all of the Western European nation defensive pact to be opposition to the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union included all of the Baltic states and the Soviet or Russian Federation states, you know, all these countries from Uzbekistan north that ran along the western edge of Europe. Here we are. Right here we are. I don't know if this is the end of NATO per se. I do know that the North Atlantic, we're going to use this term loosely, not the organization, but just this old Western homogenous unit. It's kind of breaking up. And I will go so far as to say that the Brexit, that is the United Kingdom saying, you know what? That is England saying, fuck the European Union, which was supposed to only be a monetary system to unify European currency and bring some hegemony to that, to kind of unify it under one currency. And of course, it fucking failed. It's still failing because of the socialist, that's right, folks, socialist ideas and concepts. And then you have multiple cultures in multiple countries with disparate resources. It's not working good, didn't work good. And then, the dumb bastards in the European Union thought, well, we're going to tell other countries how to run things socially, how to handle immigration. We're going to force as much shit down their throat as we can. You know what? So the European Union has been dissolving already and failing. And now, well, we have the whole economic problem that's happening that nobody really knows about. The United States, the dollar's a pile of shit because they're overprinting it. China thinks it's going to be the next world reserve currency. The Chinese are having fucking problems. They've got one of their failing investment corporations is 5 fucking times bigger than the Lehman Brothers, which was what was the major factor in the 2008, the Great Recession started, when Lehman failed. Lehman actually just got the fucking bag handed to him and blamed. It was much bigger than just Lehman. But they got to hold the bag. Kind of like Germany after World War I was blamed for World War I. And they're like, hey, look, everyone was throwing fucking rocks. And in fact, the war was started in, Albania? When the Archduke Ferdinand was assassinated by a small secret society called the Black Hand. But Germany got the blame because, they were defeated in the war. I know I'm all over the place with this stuff, folks. History is it's replete with examples of fucking stupidity on the part of governments. So what is the fallout of this whole French thing and this other little, pact that was started between the UK and Australia? This little Anglo-American submarine screw job thing. I don't like any of the shit that Biden's doing. So expect the worst, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Fuck, what other choice do we have? All right, let's move on. We got Frankie Rios with a $5 super chat donation. He says, how many kids does it take to get the center of a federal agency? The world is finding out. Greatest Tootsie Roll commercial ever. The Tootsie Pop. From the time I was a little kid, they had this fucking kid and an owl. Or is it a turtle? Anyways, asking how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? And the owl gave it 3 licks, bit it, and said 3. We're going to find out, right? Or maybe we won't. It all depends on how this all shakes out. Is the federal government going to make just asinine decision after stupid mistake? Are they going to make so many mistakes that they screw up their own great reset? Are they gonna punch through the walls of ignorance and create new levels of stupidity? At this point, why not? These people have done nothing but demonstrate to us that they're completely incompetent and that they could fuck up a wet dream. Absolutely, folks. All right, we got Knit Diver 5 with a $9.99 super chat and says they have to destroy the United States of America to bring in their new world order. None of this is a mistake or a coincidence. You, bam, hit that one right on the head. Folks, the Great Reset, the Bilderberg Group, the Davos dickheads, the Illuminati, the New World Order types. They're all the same fucking people. These are these globalist, aristocratic pricks who, folks, never went away. After the American Revolution, King George was like, well, I guess we lost America. We still got the rest of the world. And the French, when they beheaded the king, that's right, King Louis, off with your head. Marie Antoinette, you saucy bitch, off with your head. All of those aristocrats that lost their fucking heads. And then in other countries, they're like, you know what? You people, you're free. It's cool. We're just aristocrats. We're gonna fucking moonwalk out of this fucking place. You guys are cool. They never went away, folks. It's not like they said, well, why don't you take our billions and trillions in modern day terms, folks. Something I haven't talked about in a while. The rich, the super rich that we hear about, like Jeff Bezos. I mean, he's super rich. If I had 1/100th of his money, well, I'd have a lot of money. But he's not the richest guy on the planet. Let me remind you, folks, that they sent empty ships over from Europe to the Americas. the Swedish, the Dutch, the Spanish, the Italians, the fucking Portuguese, the English, and anyone who had a fucking boat with 2 sails on it sailed their asses over to North America, but moreover for the riches of Central and South America. And they brought back not empty boats, but boats fucking laden, meaning fucking filled full of gold and silver and gems. And all of these fucking nearly sinking boats lumbered their way back over to Europe. I mean, do you think they had to burn the gold to keep warm? No, well, number one, you can't. They still have all that fucking gold. They still have all that silver. They still have all those jewels. The rich families never went away, folks. And they could at any time buy up a company. They could buy up an industry. They could pay for, that's right, you ready for this? These new democracies that popped up. They could say, hey, pal, here's a couple $1 million in gold. Here's a couple million Deutschmarks. Here's a couple million rupees. Here's a couple million pounds. Here's a couple million francs. Here's a couple million dinars, right? See what I'm saying? They've been buying politicians from the very beginning, hundreds of years ago, 100 years ago, 50 years ago. Today, they have all of this wealth. They buy companies that become multi-billion-dollar companies and grow, right? You think Thyssen is a nobody company? Right? No, these are owned by these rich bastards. They're absolutely owned by them, and they're not going away. All right, we got Corrupted that shows up with a $4.99 super chat donation. Now, I just saw a couple of words in here, so I need to be very careful when talking about this. Hey, John, the a-holes kept telling us one death from cerveza bug is too many. So if that's the case, how many deaths from the Jim Jones juice is okay? Oh, you are a smartass extraordinaire. Thank you, Corrupted, for such a volatile subject, and you did word it very well. So here's the deal. We were told that, cerveza bug is so bad, and we can't have one death from it. Folks, every month in the United States of America, before cerveza bug, we would lose on average, folks, on average, 150,000 people a month in the United States die from things other than cerveza bug, meaning liver failure, heart attack, cancer, diabetes, right? It sounds like a fucking Pepto commercial, right? People die all the time. 150,000 a month in America. Guess how many have died per month on average since then, since cerveza bug? The number is actually 150,000 a month. It hasn't gone up. It's not a mystery why that's the case. But here's the deal, folks. We were told, right, that one death is too many. So why is it okay that we have so many dying, right, from reactions? Why is it that we have so many being injured? If one death is too many, how about one injury is too fucking many? Well, that was the old system, folks. The old system, in order to get through the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA and the USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and whoever else has their fucking fingers in this, the CDC, right? It's a great question. How many is too many? It used to be like, well, if I remember the rules correctly, they would have to go through a series of tests. We'll do a test sample here, and then we'll do a larger test sample and see if the numbers hold up, see if everything's efficacious, see if everything is copacetic, and then go to the next bigger before. And it'd take years to get something to be created from nothing all the way to the point where it was fully accepted. And then people had a voluntary choice whether or not they wanted to participate in the use of these products which were created and went through a multi-tiered step, having to prove their way all along. And if there were like 5 deaths, killed it. That's too fucking dangerous. We're not doing that anymore. But in this case, whoa, 1 death from cerveza bug is too many. So everyone lock down, flatten the curve. We got to save grandma. How about this? Hey, grandma, get in your fucking house and stay there. We'll bring you food, right? We'll take care of you, grandma, grandpa. Don't worry. And I'm serious, folks. We would take care of them. Instead, we lock everyone else up. Fucking retarded. Oh, wait a minute. This has a stink to it. It smells like nefarious agenda. Make sure you keep your brains lubricated, folks. That really is what it comes down to. It's not about the deaths. Corrupted. It's not about the deaths. It's about an agenda. Now, what is that agenda? Destroy America? Fundamentally change, right, Obama, you bastard? Fundamentally change America? Tatter the Constitution? Condition people to obeying edicts, demands, despotic bullshit, that is, tyrannical lies that the governor, the mayor can tell you what to do in a so-called emergency that's completely fabricated and does not have science behind it. In order to make order out of chaos, you have to have chaos. And chaos doesn't happen naturally. Typically, you take order and you make chaos out of it. Someone does something stupid, like assassinate Archduke Ferdinand. Or someone says, they jump up and go, "Cerveza bug!" And everyone in the room gets scared. Now, all of a sudden, we have all these special rules and shit. So they take order and make chaos out of it so they can turn around and say, chaos, right? Make order out of chaos. In other words, they're creating their new world order right now, or at least trying. And all around the world, people are fighting it. I haven't gotten to talk about that yet because you guys, this is the zoo at Sunday Night Live, and you get to determine what we talk about. You get to determine what we talk about. And I really recommend that you share this video with everyone. Share it. There's people that are just now waking up and they have no fucking clue what's going on. They just know something ain't right. They're finally red pilling and waking the fuck up. All right, let's move on. We got Crazy Uncle with a $5 super chat donation. He says, did you hear that woman? Did you hear that women going to fertility clinics asking for non-Jim Jones juice items? There isn't a big push for it yet, but I'm sure it's coming. Pun intended. Okay, here we are. And by the way, I also wanted to say, I want to say thank you to Mr. Skylight, who busted his ass all weekend. I got your stuff, man. It has been crazy. Okay. But yeah, thank you, Mr. Skylight. But on to Crazy Uncle here. Women are going to fertility clinics. What they're wanting, folks, they're asking for clean sperm. They're wanting sperm from men who have not taken shall we say, anything that could contaminate or cause the product to become defective. They want natural, unmodified men's sperm. Right? I'm not in that game, folks. Right? I'm not in that game. I'm not in that game. But definitely, you can understand this. Women out there who want to become pregnant, and they get this, they get these products. They get DNA samples that men have donated, but they want to make sure that they're not polluted with anything that could cause them to become defective. And this is incredible, folks. It's absolutely incredible because what people are being injected with changes at the most fundamental basic level, DNA, RNA level. It changes things so that you're not really what I am. I am uncontaminated. Sorry, ladies, none is available for you. I'm uncontaminated. I am uncontaminated. Right? There's a lot of men out there that are uncontaminated, and they are going to become very valuable. Now, I've been trying to tell my son, hey, look, Lucas, you're a fucking prize, dude. Right? You've got some crazy ass, good, high IQ and physically fit genetics. Don't fuck that up, right? there's going to be a lot of people that probably, a lot of women, I should say, that are going to want some help, right? And that's going to happen, folks. The government is really pushing. They want, 80, 90% of people, 100 if they could get it, to be on this other system. And if you have read the novel Brave New World, it is a dystopian vision by Aldous Huxley that talks about how people don't reproduce, but people are produced through government labs. They're created in vitro. They're created with certain characteristics. Everything is government controlled. No one is allowed to procreate on their own. That is just one of many dystopian ideas about what our future holds for us. And this is the exact type of fucking nightmare that people like Bill Gates want. They want people sterilized and just a few people able to reproduce. They are a bunch of sick bastards, folks. Now, I'm not saying that humanity is a perfect organism, but compared to these low-life elitists, we're a fair stretch better. All right, let's move on. We got Crypto Knight with a $10 super chat donation. He says, just a little love from Texas. Oh, folks, Texas. Oh, man, I want to talk to you about Texas. Thank you very much, Crypto Knight. I got something on Texas for you, man. Get this shit. You want to see how free Texas is? Folks, it's coming. This will prove it. How red, how Republican, how libertarian, how free is Texas? Well, get this. Beto O'Rourke. Now, if you don't remember who that dumb bastard is, Beto O'Rourke is the limp-wristed, light-in-the-loafers dingbat that was trying to become a Democrat political candidate for president. He wanted to be president. This dumb motherfucker, Beto O'Rourke. He said, hell yeah, we're going to take your AR-15. That Beto O'Rourke. He is preparing to run for governor of Texas. I want him to run for governor of Texas. Do it, Beto, you piece of shit. Do it. Because I want to see what the percentage is of Texans that are Republican, conservative, libertarian to Democrat, socialist, fascist, communist. I want to see and know, because it's changed, folks. There was a big fear that Texas was going to flip blue in the last election, and it went up massively. Even with all of the little hanky-panky shit, those box loads of goodies that were delivered like fucking Santa Claus showed up at the last second, and it just fell into our counting machine. Even with all of that bullshit, Texas was much more Republican than it was in prior elections. And I have a feeling, folks, since Cerveza-Bug, it's going to be even more so. Do it, Beto. Run, you big jackass. I want him to, big time. I want him to. I want to see what Texas has to say about freedom, liberty, our Constitution, our laws. Texans aren't happy, folks, for a lot of reasons. This ain't about AR-15s, by the way. It's about Texas and what Texas is. Texicans do not, folks, believe that the United States government up in Washington, D.C., they don't believe that they're owned by them. They believe that they're a free republic engaged in a voluntary union and agreement with the other states. That's all. That's it. All right, we got DJ Griffin with a $5 super chat donation. He says, in your opinion, many acres should one own in order to be self-sufficient? I just purchased 5 acres in rural Tennessee. Well done, man. Well done. 5 acres is a lot of land. I've owned a 5-acre ranchette in California, and I've owned a 40-acre mini ranch. I still don't know what to call it, a real ranch. But you can sustain things. What really depends, or what really determines your ability to be self-sustaining, are a lot of things. And let's just look at the whole picture. Okay, in order to live, right, what do we talk about? You need your Maslowian pyramid met. Not all the way at the top, but the basic tenets, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense. Those are the elements needed to live on your own, that basic life. So if you live in a warm climate, food, you can grow your own food in sufficient quantities and then prepare it for storage, And then you can also, in a warm climate, you can have chickens, goats, rabbits, and other things in a very small parcel of land, 1 acre, 5 acres. You can get a lot of sustenance out of that land through both the farming or growing of vegetation as well as small livestock. Cattle is different though. Cattle need a lot of acres per head of cattle, but that again is determined by how much land is needed. That is, how many cattle per acre? It depends on the climate. What is the elevation? What is the temperature? How long is the growing season? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then if there are other farms in the area, can you get feed for your cattle? What do you have to give to them in trade? So self-sustainability, it's a big deal, right? And that's just food, How about water? Kind of shelter is required in a warm climate. You just want to stay dry. You don't have to worry about freezing your ass off. So Tennessee, got some mountains, got some valleys, beautiful stuff there. Yeah, if you've got good southern exposure, you've got self-sustaining electricity. At the RMZ, we've got a beautiful, beautiful solar setup there. So yeah, get yourself prepared. And again, it comes down to what kind of resources, wealth do you have to do this? Do your very best. We talked about chickens the other day. Free-range chickens, they eat bugs, grass, all kinds of stuff, right? So it'll cost you less in feed to keep them growing. And chickens are a marvelous source of protein. And the whole idea of them eating a bunch of worthless bugs, I like that. All right, we got Orlando checking in with a $10 super chat donation. Thank you, Orlando. He says this, as Roman General Vecidius once said, if you want peace, prepare for war. Yes. There's a lot of interesting ideas and ways to think about the human condition. The closer you are to war, the closer you are to peace has been an idea that's been thought about a long time. The bigger your army is, the greater the odds you have of achieving peace as a nation state. Meaning if you've got no army, expect people to fuck with you a lot. If you've got a big army, expect people to stay away and you can live in relative peace. Right? If you want peace, you need to defeat your enemies, so you need a big military. There's a lot of different ways to look at this, but it's kind of takes a perspective, a patriarchal perspective. You know how toxic masculinity is. I like peace. I do. I like being left the fuck alone. I wish we didn't have shit-eating the fan. I wish we didn't have these elitist cocksuckers trying to destroy the planet, fucking with our country, always creating wars and strife so that they can move in and suck the wealth out of these other countries. I love how communists love to call, oh, you bunch of imperialist, capitalist pigs, right? Well, you bunch of Russian, communist, Chinese dogs. Look at what China's doing, folks. China is run by a communist regime, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. They're run by the CCP. They're communist, but they've adopted a fascist economic model by which they can increase their wealth. In order to sustain that and increase it, they are engaging in imperialism. That is, they're buying up farmland, they're buying up corporations around the world, they're buying up natural resource deposits all over Africa, folks. They're making deals, with countries like Afghanistan, which are now no longer tied to the West. They're making deals with South American, Central American countries. They're making deals with European nations. They're buying ports. They're buying useful assets. Apparently, they've been shopping in Alaska lately, too. Oh, yeah, folks. Incredible stuff. We got Chester Wolf the Griffin with a $2 super chat. He says, Georgia Guidestones 101. what he's talking about here is these Georgia Guidestones popped up during the Jimmy Carter administration, way back in the 1970s. One day they weren't there, the next day they were. These giant fucking stones. It looks like someone took Stonehenge apart and put it back together in a little bit different configuration. And these big giant sarsens, these big giant stones. I don't know if sarsens is the right word, but again, I have this kind of a Stonehenge perspective when I look at the Georgia Guidestones. And on each face are these rules, these wishes, if you will, on how to sustain the planet. And this has been around, like I said, for over 40 years. But someone created them, and on each face of each stone are the same guidelines. That's why they're called the Georgia Guidestones, in a different language. In a different language. The one in English likes to spell out how they don't want there to be more than 500 million people on the entire planet, period. That's a sustainable level of humanity. Well, in order to get there, let's see, if we've got almost 8 billion, thereabouts, and they want to drop it down to 500 million. So 500 million into 8 million is 16 parts. 16 goes into 100. Well, 6 times plus a little bit. So essentially, they want to remove 5/6. That is about 85% of the population. What's that number we keep hearing that they want to have the, I think Dr. Fauci said we need 80 or 90% of the population vaccinated. 85%. Anybody? All right. She's into Malakas Dean. Thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat donation. It says, John, today is talk like a pirate day today. Could you say something like a pirate in observance of this day? Oh, shit. I was not prepared for this. Well, if it's action they want, it's action they'll get. Arrgh. A-B-R-B-R. That's about all you're going to get out of me. I am not drunk. I wasn't prepared for Pirate Day, but I'm glad you brought that up. Oh, my God, that's fucking funny. You can buy a holiday in America, folks. You literally can. They bought a month, for freaking rainbow people. All right, we got Robert Alfred with a 556 super chat donation. He says, regardless, I won't stop standing for freedom, even if it means I'm the only one. Long live the Republic. Folks, we've had great turnout here tonight. Now, remember, right now we've got 815 people live. People come on, they come, they go, they leave. We've had as high as 2,300 at once on YouTube, folks. This is YouTube presentation. President Joe Biden can't seem to get more than 500. And for the most part, those are all Republican, libertarian, freedom-minded people anyway, who are basically saying, we're just here to thumbs down you, and they hang up, right? They turn it off. Well, on this channel alone, we outnumber YouTube Joe Biden supporters. Just on this little channel where we only have 80,000 subscribers. Long live the Republic. You're not going to be all alone. You're not going to be all alone, because I'm not going down. I'm not going down, or rather, I'm not bending the knee. I'm not taking a knee. I'm not swearing to their sick, demented New World Order. I am not going to take the jab. I'm not going to turn in my guns. I'm not going to go silently into that good night. I'm going to stand for what's right, where I won't be standing at all. So I'll keep standing. And if these dumb bastards want to go, folks, there's a lot more like you, Robert Alford, who say, right, I'm not giving up. I'm not quitting. I had some food today with 3 people that I did not suspect would say some things to me which were profound, articulate, intelligent, and patriotic. I can't give you more details than that, but I was very impressed with what they had to say about freedom, guns, their beliefs, the American way. It was incredible. I was really impressed. Americans, folks, they know. You don't have to fall for the bullshit. Just a little bit of thinking, a little bit of learning, a little more thinking, and you can come to conclusions that actually make sense. Unlike these stupid fuckers in Washington, D.C. All right, we got Crazy Uncle with a $5 super chat donation. He says, prepper tip. The best preps are the trinity: your physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health. All the best to everyone here. Thank you, Crazy Uncle. That's really a great way to look at things, folks. These are the best preps. Now, your spiritual health, that's your belief system. What do you believe in? Now, folks, this channel here, it is basically natural philosophy. That's really what we're doing here. Believe it or not, this is natural philosophy. That is, how can you have a world, a country, a republic, a tribe, and a local organization or a group or even a nuclear family without the will, the desire, the know-how of self-preservation? In order to have self-preservation on a grand scale, you've got to have it on the micro. As above, so below, as Hermes Trismegistus would say. Right? That's Hermeticism, folks. Belief in humanity, belief in the individual, freedom as an individual, freedom collectively, they all match. You've got to have this understanding, this faith, spirituality. Without it, you die. Now, once you go past spiritual health, you have mental health. Yeah, you bet, right? Mental is between the spiritual and the physical. Physical health, well, we talk about what's required to be physically prepared, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. If you've got good food, good defense, good medicine, good home, good clothing, your health is going to be good, and good health feeds a strong mind. And the mind looks to the spiritual. The mind looks to philosophy. An understanding of the world around us is what philosophy is. Using our thoughts, the spoken word, the logos. It's some deep shit if you really want to get into it, folks. There's some deep shit if you really want to get into it. For the most part, we try and keep things simple, right? We go to work, we get our money, we pay our bills, we try and live well, to experience life, to realize and experience love. Love for not just the world around you and people, but love for yourself. You love yourself, you can love others. These sick bastards in DC, in the Bilderberg group, all of these sick New World Order types, their souls are sick. They are unhealthy mentally. And they eat good food, but apparently that doesn't help them because they have a very sick spirituality. Their belief and faith that, people are real and that we should live our own lives. They want to control, consume, and condemn everyone else. In other words, they're a bunch of bastards, right? Anyways, philosophy, folks. We're engaged right now in thinking, helping ourselves, and wanting to help others, and prepping right now since shit has hit the fan. In this group I said I ate lunch with, one of them said, you know what, my husband talked about how back in the end of 2019, things went kind of kaput. This is what I heard. I was like, but she didn't give the date, right? Which was the collapse in September of 2019, which caused the Federal Reserve to start the funding of the overnight repo market. It was a complete financial and banking collapse that occurred all the way back in September of 2019. And since then, folks, they've been hiding it and covering it up and throwing COVID at us and every fucking thing else. We're living on borrowed time economically. That does not mean that homes aren't useful and that gold and silver aren't money, and that, you know, your fiat even has some value for the time being. I'm not saying it's going to fail tomorrow or the next day or even next month, but it is becoming worth less as they print more and more money, which means we're going to see inflation. Again, that is economic philosophy. Keynesian philosophy or Austrian economics, which is a philosophy which is sound and based on soundness. Now, it's not for me to tell you, it's for you to learn. And that's what philosophy is about learning for ourselves that which is factual and that which is true. What is it we're getting from the likes of Dr. Fauci? What is it we're getting from the likes of General Milley? What is it we're getting from the likes of Camel Toes Harris and Joe Biden and 90 Proof Piglosi? We're not getting truths and facts. We're getting agenda and propaganda. It is a false narrative. It is false logic. It is fallacy. In other words, it is dead philosophy. It is lies. And that is why everything is crumbling, because they're trying to build on their lies to create a new reality. It's not going to work. It can't work. It cannot work. It is doomed to fail because it is based on a lie. Their story that they're creating. You can't go to work, get paid for 40 hours while only doing 20 hours of work because you don't want to work and you think you should be able to hug a fucking teddy bear, get paid for lunch, get off early Friday because you're a fucking dweeb who believes in some sort of socio-economic system that can sustain itself on that type of shit. It just doesn't work, folks. Right? How to put this, to wrap this up. Right? There's truth and fact, and then there are false prophets. And false prophets are prophets of doom. And they preach a false philosophy, a false belief system, a false faith. Right? Their leader is the father of lies. It gets fucking deep, like I said, folks, if you really want to get into it. And the prepared mind, and I'm not talking about mine, I'm talking about yours. The prepared mind can grasp this, understand it, and go with it. Let's get on with it, though. She's in Timalakas Dean with a $4.99 super chat. Says, what say you on La Palma Island slide? Are we all doomed? No, we're not all doomed. That was actually a word my son Lucas used to use. I love that kid. Talked to him today. Great young man. I love to talk to young folks, young men, young women who have got their shit together. It just fucking inspires me a bunch. It gives me hope for the future. Okay. Again, we're talking about the Canary Islands in that slide. We're not all doomed. Oh, by the way, Lucas would look at something that he's just not happy and he'd go, Dad, we're doomed. We're doomed. This is before, folks. This is before I even started the Prepared Mind channel. It's not like he was listening to me going, oh shit, we're fucked. Thanks, Dad. We're doomed. No, anything Lucas would go, we're doomed. You know, it's snowing out. He's like, we're doomed. I love Lucas. He was funny as hell. Anyways, no, you know, it's possible that this slide could cause waves, a tsunami. It's possible it could be very large. It's possible it could cause all kinds of havoc. Fukushima, for example. I want to use Fukushima because it's I would say current enough or recent enough to be in people's minds to paint a picture that we can visualize based on our memories. As the Fukushima event, which I think may have been caused by some nuclear ordnance, I don't know. The Fukushima event was a series of waves, tsunami water, just piling up on itself as it inundated Japan. Those waves were horrendous to watch because it was filmed thoroughly. You know, first 5 feet, and then 10 feet, then 20 feet, then 30 feet, then 40 feet, then 50 feet of water mounting and piling up, flooding Japan, causing massive destruction, loss of lives, etc. It was just a horrific event that I don't think was natural, but that's just me. Because there are other things that happened at the Fukushima power plant that I don't like either. Anyways, enough of that. What I want to talk about is the height of the wave that occurred in Japan because of the earthquake, right? But by the time that water came across the ocean to California, it was not 30 or 50 or 70 feet. It was one wave, 3 foot tall. Now it's interesting. I watched footage of Lahaina, Maui in the Hawaiian Islands. Lahaina, Maui, that sucked the water out of the harbor there, which is fucking odd to see. And then it, you know, came back in. Hawaii got some waves, I think like North Shore, Maui, and Lahaina's on the kind of the southwest shore, by the way. But the North Shore got some waves. They were really worried on the North Shore of Oahu, and it really wasn't all that bad. But then California was nothing. Now, the reason I talk about this is now the Pacific Ocean is much bigger than the Atlantic. But if we get some big waves off of the Canary Islands, if they get something, by the time it gets across the Atlantic, there's a chance it's going to be a lot less of a wave. Now, again, you can take a look at, you've seen the pictures of lakes or ponds where it's just so flat. There's no breeze, so it's flat like a fucking mirror, and you can see the reflection. If you were to take a rock and you go out and you throw the rock right into the middle, and it creates, you know, a splash and then waves that ripple out. Well, yeah, it creates waves and they travel, but literally, you know, one molecule hits another, hits another, hits another, hits another, hits another, hits another. There's several things that happen here. What it requires is, a wave isn't the same wave that moves along. It's water hitting water, hitting water, hitting water. The same way my voice is modified sound waves at a certain frequency, at a certain volume. But you can't hear my voice at this level. While you can hear me 10 feet away, you won't really hear me 100 feet away. You might get a little bit of sound. But at 100 feet, 1,000 feet, you wouldn't know I was even here, right? So the further you get away, in order for you to hear a sound, it has to be one air molecule hitting another air molecule, hitting another air molecule, carrying both the energy and the frequency of my voice. So as water moves and hits more water, it dissipates, right? Energy is lost. It's not transmitted 100%. It loses a small percentage, a small percentage, a small percentage the further it travels. So the waves will go down, 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 down. So I don't want to scare everybody with this idea that, you know, if the Canary Islands blow, dump a bunch of land into the sea, I mean, you're talking about, I don't know, you know, cubic acres of dirt sliding. If it's a slow, gradual slide, is that going to make a huge wave? Right, if you take a rock and dip it into that pond very slowly, are you going to make huge waves? Or are you going to make, you know, tiny, tiny little disturbances on the surface? So again, yeah, I mean, we think of, we tend to think of a volcano exploding and this pyroclastic flow coming down the mountain, you know, at 100 miles an hour, 150 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour, with volcanic gases and ash and shit at 1,400 fucking degrees, looking to cook everything in its path. Yeah, that's fucking dramatic looking. We don't know at what speed this landslide could occur. We just don't know. I mean, I have no idea. We have no idea if there's an explosive volcano that's going to blow water towards America. So don't say we're doomed. Anyways, It's a topic that I've always really enjoyed, volcanology, geophysics, and shit like that. Anyways, let us move on. We got Frankie Rios with a $5 super shot. And by the way, we're at an hour and a half. I like to go 2 hours. But if you guys have super chat questions, I'm here. I'm in for the marathon. I'm in it to win it tonight. We got to get ready for this week. Things are smelly, folks. There's a lot of bad things going on, and the Biden administration wants to hide the truth. They want to hide the facts. Frankie Rios checks in and says, hey, John, remember when I mentioned the guy who ran the invasion across the pond and how he's in charge at the south border? Looking quite similar. I'm thinking. It doesn't happen too often. Remember when I mentioned the guy who ran the invasion across the pond and how he's in charge at the south border, looking quite similar. I do not remember specifically what you talked about with regard to your opinion. I wish I could. Sorry, I don't. Damn it. But we do have problems, folks. We do have some big problems with what's going on at the southern border. The Biden administration is trying to cover its tracks. They're trying to hide the truth. They don't want news reporters there reporting. They've stopped drones from being flown around. Right now, Texas is doing what they can because the federal government has absolutely failed. They've absolutely failed at the southern border. I have so much stuff for tomorrow, folks. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to do additional broadcasts on Patreon or not. I just don't know. But folks, we've also got this other thing called the R Syndicate. ARG, the ARG Syndicate. There's some more pirate talk for you. I did see Uman put that up earlier. The ARG Syndicate. The R Syndicate, folks, was started as, well, it started as a joke between Uman, Vaughn, Kaz, and myself. We were making a joke about the QAnon story that was out there, that, you know, everything was going to be fixed, that there's a super secret squirrel conspiracy of good guys, and they had everything under control, and it was they planting big traps out there so that they could make all these massive arrests, and they're gonna save the world. And we're like, you know what? Why make this so difficult? If there's good guys out there, just get your guns, go knock on the doors of the bad guys and arrest them. You know, stop all this cat and mouse, spy versus spy bullshit. And so we said Q is not the real thing. R is the real thing. And it's funny, and actually now we have a Q who is doing some behind the scenes invention work for us. Anyways, back to the R Syndicate. You know, we said, don't believe QAnon, believe in the R Syndicate. And then we just basically said, wouldn't it be great to have a website with every prepper name, resource, website, so that you can find by topic, subject, within your needs for food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, within your needs for all of that, self-defense. And if somebody disappears, they get canceled, they get removed, they get banned from the internet on one of their sites, you can go and find others like them or find other sites this person has. So we have the R Syndicate. All right, that was a great promo piece put together by Mr. T, who kind of joined the R Syndicate team and the Prepared Mind Network to help us out. And great promo to kind of let you know what is the R Syndicate, right? So he's done some great work for us, and he's been battling YouTube and all their horse shit as well. Anyways, we got Rooster Cogburn checks in with a 556 super chat donation. He says this: any woman who wants uncontaminated product can come see me free of charge for what they need. The Rooster will work overtime under these circumstances. Rooster Cogburn is a selfless dude, it sounds like. He's willing to help out women who want uncontaminated seed. I cannot speak nor promote Rooster and his claims. The Prepared Mind Network and the R Syndicate don't why do they put that disclaimer in there? The opinions of Rooster Cogburn may not be in line with those of the Prepared Mind and the R Syndicate. All right, let's move on. We got Damien English with a $20 super chat donation. He says, on a more serious note, and yes, this would be a more serious note, but like I said, if you make a donation, we can have some fun and a joke, folks. Oh, humor is important. Humor is important. Now, back to Damien English. He says, on a more serious note, have you seen Edward Snowden has been putting out new information on the government plan? Also in 2021, Heller is suing DC again on ghost guns. Do you smell new? Landmark case. By the way, truckers are going to be quitting. All right, Damien really threw a lot of stuff in the air, and I get to kind of grab at it. Let's start with truckers, and we'll go backwards. And I hope that Jolene, hint Jolene, pay attention. When I get done with the trucker part, go ahead and put back the original Damien thing so I can refer back to his other points that he wants addressed. And like I said, you folks put some stuff up here. I'll make you a star. I'll address this stuff to the best of my ability. So our truckers quitting. What they demonstrated in Australia, and they had a big trucker strike, is truckers will quit or stand down or stop. And the store shelves will get empty. And the people will not be able to get food. They won't. Does that hurt the government? Well, it hurts their tax rolls because there's not as much sales tax because there's not as much stuff to sell. But the people are the ones who suffer. Always in a war, folks, it is the people who suffer. Now, the military goes out there and fights. And they for patriotic reasons, will kill themselves for their country, if need be, as a last resort, as a consequence of the conflict. Civilians have to pay for it. They are behind the scenes. They're behind the fighting lines, making the guns and the bullets. They're behind the lines, growing the food to feed themselves and feed the armies and pay their fucking taxes. But the government never, ever, ever suffers because government creates nothing except chaos and fucking misery and more taxation. But government doesn't suffer. They will always get food first. They call it continuity of government. They want to make sure they live longest, live best. And isn't that what we see from these bastards like Gavin Newsom? Oh, I've got some great fucking stories in here, folks, about these hypocritical pieces of shit. Let me give you one real quick, just to let you know how government takes care of itself, right? The San Francisco mayor, London Breed, spotted maskless partying at an indoor jazz club with the BLM, Black Lives Matter co-founder, in violation of her own Cerveza-Bug order. What a pile of shit. And that's just one example from this weekend, folks, of the leadership. How many times did Gavin Newsom get caught? How many times did Nancy Pants Pelosi get caught? Screwing around, breaking their own belief system. Well, they don't give a shit. They're the government. They're going to eat the best food. They're going to drink the finest wines, and fuck you. Because they think they're special. They think they're elites. Now, let's back up to more. I have not seen the Edward Snowden material. I've kind of heard about it, but I have not reviewed it personally. The reason is I think Edward Snowden is played. I think Julian Assange is played. QAnon played out what it could. I think a lot of this, folks, is really good, powerful stuff. But I mean, looking at Julian Assange, if you've got information on Hillary Clinton, on Joe Biden, on Democrats, on the scumbags, on the globalists, on the rhino Republicans, I don't give a fuck who it's on. If you've got that dirt, get it the fuck out there. Don't sit on and go, well, you're going to You leave me alone or I'll release this stuff. Release it. To hold information back for one person, Julian Assange or Edward Snowden or anyone else, to hold information back that can save lives, help people attain freedom and liberty. Let it out there, right? Same with John McAfee, who supposedly had some safety files like, oh, you better leave me alone or I'll release this bad stuff on you. Right? The dead man switch. If my lawyer doesn't hear from me by 8 a.m. every morning, then he'll release information to the world. You know, the prepared mind attorney does not have that type of information. If I had world-changing information, if I had verifiable, documented evidence of the scum in DC and what they've done, I would get it out there. I would send it to all of you. I would email it to every fucking buddy. Because that information should not be held hostage so that one person can remain free. Right? That's why I do this fucking show. I could just sit here and go, I know how to prepare. Fuck everyone else. But I don't. I want the information out there. It's not information that can't be gotten other places. It's not information, folks, that a regular person couldn't figure out for themselves. It's not information, right, that is going to dethrone the power elite, what I talk about here. But it's information that's useful and it should be out there. And we have a pretty damn good network. And so I want it out there. Anyways, let me move on to the last thing about that Damien brought up, which is that Heller is suing DC again on ghost guns. Do I smell a new landmark case? Yes, I do on this case. By ghost gun, what they mean is they're trying to go after ghost guns. By ghost, they mean the government can't see it. They don't know about it. They're just out there. So you can take a block of aluminum and it can be made to look like an AR lower receiver. And it can be milled and manufactured to 80% complete. And that can be sold not as a gun, but as just a hunk of metal because it's 80%. It's not a real gun. It has no serial numbers. And people can, if they have the right tools, a little bit of intelligence and some instructions, they can take some drills and drill it out and make their own lower receiver that's functional out of this 80% block. And then they can buy the parts to install in it, which are not registered. They can attach a buttstock, a buffer recoil spring. They can put a legitimate AR-15 upper barrel assembly, upper receiver on it. And you've got a working AR-15 that doesn't even require to be registered with the government because we as free people are allowed, I like this. The ATF, the government bureaucrats have decided that we're allowed to, I don't know, make 3 or 5 of these a year per person. I think it's 3. You can make 3 of these unregistered. Now, here's my thing is if I'm not selling them, if I'm not crossing state lines, then what say does the government have at all with regard to this? And how do they know when I made them anyways? Because there's no serial numbers, there's no stamps or anything else. There's no dates. But they're trying to make these ghost guns illegal to say that the average person should not be allowed to get one of these 80% blocks and complete their own weapon. In other words, they're really interfering once again with the Second Amendment and our rights, our natural rights. Again, natural philosophy. Do I have a right to life? Do I have a right to defend this life? Well, in common law, the answer is yes. Anyways, I do smell that Heller, who won another lawsuit in Washington, D.C., is huge lawsuit. Oh, you bet. I believe there's another one coming. Anyways, we got 2 owls checking in. 2 owls with a $3 super sticker. Thank you, 2 owls, very much. Every dollar donated here goes into the fund that keeps John right here. It's the GTFB fund, the Get the Fuck Back fund, which happened. It got me from the RMZ back here, back right before the 2020 elections. I showed up back in the United States because I was like, you know what? I'm not happy with how things are going. I don't believe things are going to get better. I think they're going to get a lot fucking worse, and they have. And we're going to have some big problems here. Again, I heard some people that I would have never thought talking about a civil war, social strife, partisan politics, partisan conflict. They didn't use those words quite exactly, but some of them, yeah. And it was really fascinating. I believe we're going to have partisan conflict. I believe the potential for civil war is growing. I believe that the military, there's a schism in it. There is a divide that has grown and is being developed and promulgated by the absolute scumbags that are running the Pentagon, creating all of these fantastical false narratives that a military should run by. Right? It's destroying military morale. It's destroying military readiness. It's putting people in the military that shouldn't have a toe in the door, but they've got more than a toe. All right, we're moving on. We got Robert Alfred with a 556 donation. Says, always knew we had the guns and the numbers. Now that so many patriots and normies have taken over the Jim Jones, have they won the long game against us? Okay, so what Robert's asking here is the political normals, people who want, let's see, freedom, liberty, constitution, law and order, peace, justice, and the American way. Yeah. We are also the ones who have a good understanding of the law, that is the Constitution, law of the land, the Declaration of Independence. We pay our taxes, we have jobs, we're not criminal scumbags. And we also love our guns. A lot of us are veterans, that is well-trained military personnel who understand lots of different stuff about how to fix problems using very loud, highly energetic, kinetic energy freedom seeds. Yeah, look out. So we've always known that we have this part of us. It's just who opposes us. So the people that I think are the most patriotic are Robert Alfred, are the people that are most patriotic are also the people who are most likely to say, no fucking way am I going to take the Jim Jones juice. I will not drink that Kool-Aid. I do not like green eggs and ham. Fuck the Kool-Aid, right? They have not won the long game against us. They have crippled themselves. Whether we're talking Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, whether we're talking 1984, whether we're talking Aldous Huxley's Brave New World or Brave New World Revisited, either of those two, they are sabotaging themselves. They have emasculated themselves. The left-wing lunatics, these socialists, these social fascists, these social communists, they have emasculated themselves with soy, with synthetic estrogens, with chemicals, with poisons, with toxins. That is not to say that us normal people, and I do mean we're normal. We're concerned about ourselves, our family, our country. We're concerned about our health, our mental well-being, our spiritual well-being. We're concerned with natural philosophy, in other words. That is how to survive and live in this world. That doesn't mean we are not exposed to and haven't come into contact with these bad things. But when it comes to something like tequila shots, right, zombie sauce, when it comes to that, that's like saying, hey, how would you like a glass of fucking plutonium to drink? It's like, are you out of your fucking mind? I'm not putting that shit in me. They have gone so far off of fucking Crazyville Avenue. They're so fucking far over there. But it's like, you got to be kidding me. And they're there willingly. They're over there just loving it, just sucking down stupid after stupid. And then they're like, yeah, we're going to beat you normies. You guys are stupid. Wait a second, I'm going to go put my testicles on a block, chop them off, and see how that feels. These fucking people are that dumb. Their leaders are that dumb. But yeah, their idea is to destroy America, and they think that they're going to destroy us in the same time. They're going to destroy themselves. They're probably going to destroy America, but what will be left for us to claim for ourselves? I sure hope, folks, and that's really what we got, is that there's enough of us to defeat them. So when you say, you know, have we gone too far? They have gone too far with themselves up here, mentally, spiritually, physically. They fucking trashed themselves. Do we have enough here to handle what's left? The answer is yes. It's still going to be shit. It's the fan. It's still going to fucking suck. And it's going to take a long time to get through, to get to the other side where there can be a real America again. It's going to be tricky, folks, right? There's real wealth, real thinking, real productivity out here. People that are smart, people that are charismatic, people that have the ability to think, right, and to make shit happen, whether it's manufacturing or building homes or farming or working, people cooperating with other people to create systems of, shall we say, productivity, right? The promotion of good things and good ideas, the promotion of goodness creates goodness. It creates an atmosphere where good things can happen. What are we getting out of the political left? A promotion of fucking stupidity, moronicanism. There's a word I just made up. These people are absolute abject morons over here. They're creating systems of destruction that they are employing for themselves, which will take them down and make them less effective, if not just outright dead. All right, let's move on. We got Melody Dawn with a $5 super sticker. Thank you, Melody, very much. I appreciate that. Everything goes right into the GTFB fund and stay back. I would love, folks, nothing more than to go to the RMZ, jump in the cot, jump in the hammock, right? Sipping fucking pina colada. I just don't think that's right. I don't think that patriots should run from the fight. Instead, we tend to run to the fight. We got Corn Pop 2.0 with a $4.99 super chat donation. He says, so Haiti's president gets smoked a few months ago. Oh, yeah, that's right. Remember, the president of Haiti was assassinated. He didn't die. He didn't get cerveza bug. He didn't have cancer. He was fucking murdered, right? So the president of Haiti gets smoked a few months ago. And now there are thousands of Haitians flooding across the southern border. Coincidence? Not a fucking chance. I'm not big on coincidences, folks. I'm not big on them at all. Now, what is the connection? What is, you know, why did the president of Haiti need to be assassinated? Who benefited? Qui bono? Right? Qui bono, who benefits? Who benefits financially? Who benefits with power and control? Who benefits, whose agenda? Whose agenda benefits from this? Well, before, Haitians probably weren't allowed to flee the country without having proper papers. You cannot get on a plane or a boat to leave a country unless you have proper papers, because the country that they're leaving from, the country of origin, and then the one they're going to want to make sure these papers are okay. But now we have all of these thousands of Haitians who made it over to Mexico, who got through Mexico, who got to the American border, and now one in the United States. A lot of palms need to be greased. A lot of people need to be pushed out of the way. And that's why when you say, hey, did this have anything to do with the president? Yeah, I bet. I bet he would not have allowed this in Haiti, that he would have taken extreme measures to ensure that law and order, right, was upheld. This is what happens in legitimate governments. They actually do things like protect their people, protect their country, and not allow lawlessness to occur. And Haiti is very small, folks. It's very small. So let's just say Haiti is the size of, let's pick a small state. Connecticut, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, I don't give a fuck. It's very small. So the president of Haiti is kind of more like a governor of a small American state. Very small, SM all. So he's very much on the ground, very much, you can see what's going on, hear what's going on. So if they were planning on taking thousands of Haitians out of the country illegally to shove in America, yeah, they would have need to grease him, or rather get rid of him. Very good, interesting topic to bring up. Thank you very much, Corn Pop. And then I will go a little bit further and ask this question. Can we expect more assassinations? Can we expect more illegal transportation of citizens from around the world, with or without their permission, desire to go, etc.? How many people would want to leave shitholes like Haiti if they're being promised, if you go to America, Biden will let you in? They'll raise their fucking hands left and right all day long, in violation of their own laws, international law and American law, to get there. What the fuck do they care? Law and order, folks. Peace and justice. We got Francesca Axe 529. Thank you very much, Francesca, with a 1776 donation, which is in, believe it or not, reference to Independence Day. That is the day that the Declaration of Independence was signed, July 4th, 1776, which basically told the King of England, hey, go fuck yourself. Anyways, this is what Francesca has to say. Who did Nicki Minaj doing a massive red pill campaign in their SHTF bingo? Who had Nicki Minaj doing a massive red pill campaign in their SHTF bingo? Oh, they fucked up. They fucked up with Nicki Minaj. I hope you all are following enough to understand. Nicki Minaj is a pop singer, I believe. I have listened to absolutely zero of her songs that I know of. I may have listened to some of her songs and not known it. Anyways, she is a POC. That's not a piece of shit. It's a person of color. And as you know, the political leftists believe they own all persons of color. And like Joe Biden, Gigi Biden, President of the United States, said, is if you vote for Trump, you ain't black. What a fucking insult. The left thinks they own all minorities, all persons of color. They think they own them, that they control them, that they can guilt you into believing their shit based on your race is a fucking insult against the, not only the race, but the individual, their IQs, their ability to understand, reason, think for themselves. So Nicki Minaj, who is a left-wing dipshit, has enough of the old gray matter going to go, hey, I've had family members take a tequila shot and get fucked up, including one, I guess, whose testicles swole up. Other people have gotten sick, and she's like, you know what? I don't want to participate in something that I'm not too sure is in my best interest. And so the political left is, bam, come down on her. Bam, just like that. Let me do that again. Bam. They're coming down on her. They're using media. They're using newspaper or newspaper organizations. It used to be newspaper or newsprint. Television. They're using political pressure, trying to get her to back off. Now they created this social networking system so that stars, musical stars and acting stars and other people could influence large groups of people. Kind of like we try to do here at The Prepared Mind, is trying to use people who think they're fucking heads to communicate to others, to influence to others, to get prepared. Nothing else. To think for themselves. Nothing else. To see the benefit of freedom. Get prepared. Freedom. That's the whole point of me being here. Prepared economically, prepared physically, prepared mentally, prepared financially, prepared in all ways for what's coming. And what's coming is not getting better, unfortunately. It's getting worse. We weren't able to, we and all other patriots, able to stop this machine of stupidity. But there's these other groups out here, these Nicki Minaj, there's a Snoop Dogg group, there's an Alex Jones group. That one's been crushed as much as they can, but they can't kill it all the way. There's the Joe Rogan group. Oh, the Joe Rogan group. Oh, they're pissed at Joe Rogan too. How dare you talk about the treatments you got that you think worked, that aren't approved. Joe Rogan, shut the fuck up. And he's like, I'm Joe Rogan. I'm going to say what the fuck I want. I got fuck you money. Nicki Minaj actually has fuck you money, and she has a very large group of followers. And so they're actually taking to, get this, over the weekend, they're taking to attacking Nicki Minaj. I believe they actually have threatened her physically now. I think they've actually physically threatened her now. Seeing, I have so much news, folks, to go through again and again and again. There it is. The mainstream media. Media is violence. Violence is media. Folks, me, you, us, we talk about facts. We are facts driven. There's some faith in there. There's also a lot of facts, truth, facts. The media is propaganda. Media is threatening violence. Nicki Minaj has now exposed the media as a mafia, and she has posted private messages from reporters who have been threatening her family members. If they can't silence you by saying, hey, 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 we don't like what you're saying. If you want to continue to be famous, Nicki, if you want us to continue to hold you up, well, she's a person of color. They can't call her, well, they could call her a racist. With everything else, with regard to everything else, Nicki Minaj is still a left-wing dipshit. But with regard to cerveza bug and what to do about it and the Jim Jones juice, she's like, no, thank you for me and my family. We've seen enough. We should have freedom of choice. It's like, hey, welcome to the party, Nicki. If you quit smoking crack, and I'm not saying she does, if you quit smoking weed, I'm not saying she does. If you do things that actually increase mental acuity, right? Increase your mental acumen, put good information in your head. If you do that, you're going to be smarter than ever, right? I know I drink alcohol, John. You're killing brain cells, you big, dumb, Swedish bastard. Well, I don't drink as much alcohol as many people think I do, even though I drink, I drink my fair share. I want to keep those Scotsmen employed over there in Scotland. And Irish. I want to keep the Irish employed, and I want to keep the beer makers employed. Anyways, enough joking aside. Nicki Minaj has caused a big, big, big fucking problem because she's not going along to get along. She's not playing with them. She's seen enough evidence. And this is what fucking kills me, is I have seen enough evidence. I have gone through the fucking reports. I have listened to doctors, experts, professionals. I've listened to scientists. I've listened to researchers. I've done my fair share of listening and reading, and I've come to my own conclusions. But if I say a fucking word one, they will Kong me. Do they want to Kong Nicki Minaj? Well, she is now exposed, folks, the violence that the mainstream media itself, the media who used to be the loudspeaker of truth. You can't silence us. We're the media. We're here to give it to the American people. They need the facts so they can decide for themselves. That's not the media anymore, folks. The media is now a fucking mafia that runs with other mafia groups like Antifa and BLM and the woke crowds and the academic institutions that want to silence people, that put together campaigns of destruction to ruin people's lives. And that was focused on me pretty intensely at one point. Oh, and with intent to fucking destroy me. And I went after them as well. And I said quite a bit about them. And they know who they are. They want to silence everybody, folks. Nicki Minaj, they pissed in the wrong pool because apparently this chick is not going to shut the fuck up. And now she has posted the messages she's got of threats. This isn't the real mafia. This isn't the United States government. These are reporters that are threatening her family. You know, kind of like the threatened Baron Trump. How they threatened the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, by showing effigies of his corpse, likenesses, that is, being burned, beheaded, destroyed, decapitated. And that was just fine in social media. You want to talk about your family being injured by those who claim that they're trying to help us with the Jim Jones juice? I'm surprised she's been able to say as much as she has, folks. Not because I think she would be killed, but I think she would be socially taken down. But, you know, interesting. She told her peeps in her social media circles, this is bad, and they went and protested in her name. Wow, incredible stuff. Crypto Knight is back with a 556 super chat donation. He says, what is your favorite chicken to raise in a home coop? I am a big fan of the Rhode Island Red. Pow. Rhode Island red. Love them. Not a big fan of Banties. Their eggs are too small. I want a big fucking egg. All right, we got Chester Wolf, the Griffin, with a $5 super chat donation. He says they are using HARP, HAARP. It's not ARP, the American Association of Retired Persons, and this is the harp that angels don't play. I've been learning and listening about HARP off and on. It's not what I spend my daily time on since the early 90s. The Jeff Metcalf show on 560 AM out of the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. Listened and learned about HARP back then. Anyways, they are using HARP to drown out the Midwest. Can create massive crop failures as part of the plan to starve millions of Americans. What do you know? What I know is that we have changing weather patterns. Now, the bastards in Washington, D.C., and the other left-wing environmentalist dipshits are trying to blame this on human activity. Not the humans that you might point to, like those who operate weather modification systems like HARP. No, they want to blame you. You eat beef and cows fart. And cows fart, and that's creating changing weather systems. That's giving cows an awful lot of credit, folks. Saying when they fart, it creates a whirlwind. You put 100 cows together, that could be a tornado, right? Now, again, let me explain methane. Cow farts, methane, changing the atmosphere, which causes the weather to change, right? Because now there's more methane in the air. Now there's more of this. There's too much carbon out there. See, they got away from the methane thing because of this argument. Here's the argument that spells their methane mist. A cow eats grass. It chews the grass up, digests it, takes energy out of it, and then it emits, in cow farts, methane, right? A little cow fart. If the cow does not eat the grass grows everywhere. It grows in pastures and fields, in the mountains and the deserts. Grass grows everywhere on the planet except Antarctica. Well, there's some sparse grass there. Anyways, I think. Grass. If the cow does not eat the grass, let's see, the cow turns the grass into methane as it breaks it down trying to get energy out. If the cow doesn't eat the grass grows, and every year it dies back. It falls in the ground and it dissolves and becomes methane all by its fucking self. It's caused by natural breakdown. It's caused by bacterial breaking it down. There's always going to be methane created as a consequence of this activity. Solar cycles, water, wind, grass. Hey, the cow is just another part of it. So fuck that. Let's take the cow out of the picture. They've now said everything's about carbon. They're going after fossil fuels because of the millions and billions of gallons of petrol that is created every year, gasoline, diesel, and other petroleum products, which are combusted, meaning the hydrocarbon chain is created through the combustion cycle with oxygen, and somehow that's bad. And I have to admit, that's an awful lot of shit that they're putting in the air. They want to blame you and your automobile, you and your energy, right? Because 80% of energy, electricity, that is to say, is created using natural gas. Once again, natural gas comes from nature, and coal, which is carbon locked up inside the coal molecules, meaning at one point it was free also. And now it's trapped in coal, which is, old fossilized wood particles. And they dig it up and they burn it and, boil water and spin turbines, create electricity. Voila. Anyways, these crazy bastards, they want to end all this, and they want to control human population. They want to stop you from being able to travel, stop you from enjoying life, stop you from being free, and basically stop, what did we say? 85% of the population from living. Look out. All right, we got Johnny Freedom Seed with a $20 super chat donation. Oh, by the way, we've just passed the 2-hour mark. The 2-hour mark. So we're into overtime as we get through all of the topics you guys want to talk about. And this is what Johnny Freedom Seed had to say. Semper Fi, everyone. Prost. We had a major storm rock us in Iowa last year. They claim it was the worst thunderstorm in history. Always wondered if it was HARP related. For the last several years, we've had a lot of weather events. We've had hurricanes that magically get really strong, that change direction, that are really freaking odd. We've had thunderstorms, rain at weird times of year. We've had hailstorms, weird weather. We've had atmospheric river events coming out of the Pacific that have just clobbered the fuck out of the West Coast. And then we have drought. I don't like any of it. I think there's the potential of it. And this isn't just the United States of America, folks. This affects Canada, Mexico, Central and South America. Europe has suffered some massive flooding. Europe has suffered incredible heat waves. It's like, what has changed? The oceanic currents still go in the same direction, right? Got that one that comes up out of the mid-Atlantic and runs up the U.S. East Coast, going south to north, that goes over and basically runs into England and then Scandinavia, and it brings all of that warm air and moisture and keeps Europe, which is a much higher latitude than the United States, keeps it on par with the basic similar weather conditions that the United States enjoys. You know, for being as far north as Norway and Sweden are, they should be, you know, a lot colder. Anyways, interesting stuff. What can you do about it? Nothing. What can I do about it? Nothing. Oh, you can get prepared. Let's do this. We got Johnny Freedom Steele with another 556 super chat donation. He says, "Oh yeah, as always, Semper Fi, brother." Oh, you bet. You bet. Semper Fi means always faithful to you folks. I'm continuing to run into people, folks, who take a look at me and go, "Semper Fi, John." And God bless you all, and thank you for keeping the secret out there. I ran into another guy the other day. Fernando was his name. Introduced himself, told me that he's got Marines all over the country in his family. And yeah, we're everywhere, folks. Veterans, patriots, Americans. God bless you all. All right. She's into Malakas Dean with a $4.99 super chat donation. Says this: "John, did you see the very sad video on Vention's channel? He's fading very fast. Please do a toast to Vention." And that I will do. Vention used to participate here on the Prepared Mind. I want to raise a toast to a human being who is suffering, who has lived a life, who has made a mark on humanity with his messages. Here's to you, brother. We all, folks, and I'm gonna get a little philosophical here. We all are born and we live our lives. Some of us make a bigger mark in the world than others, but we all leave a mark, even if we don't know it or realize it. We all make a difference in other people's lives. Years ago, with a coworker, I had this discussion, and I said, you know what, my life matters. And this was at a very bad time for me. My life matters. And this is before, you know, I was online here. And I said, you know what, if I wake up and I go to work, if I go out in public, I smile at one person. And I like to say that my smile is my superpower. It's like my number one superpower, my smile. You know, if I go and smile at one person and they like what they see, I smile at that person, they're going to take that with them. I just created a positive energy wave that could have improved that person's day enough that maybe they're going to smile at 2 or 3 people. Just a smile, folks. A smile. If I share one smile with one person in a day, that smile can reproduce 1,000,000 times over. And that one person I just smiled at smiles at 2, Those 2 smile at 2 more. That's 4, 8, plus the 2 plus mine, we're up to 11. You bet. That's just a smile. That's just one person. Right? What if you have a kind word? What if you have an act of service to another, getting in the door for somebody, giving something of yourself? This is love, folks, by the way. This is love. Giving something of yourself to others. Doing good, sharing an opinion that is positive. Right? Vention was a part of that. Some of the kind words and things that he did for me and shared with me. And he had a YouTube channel. There's lots of you like that, folks. There's thousands of you that have sent me messages. Like a smile, only way more powerful, way more influential. You know, and I've had hard times and I've had good times. And I try and have tried, especially the last few years, to get on the positive side of things. And I know that you can't help but point to the destructive assholes out here, and that's what we talk about. But I say there's a positive response to it, right? Protect yourself from whatever that negativity is so that you can be a positive person and improve the world. And it's hard to do, folks. Nobody's perfect, but we can all do this. And that's what this channel is about. It's about getting people prepared. Sadly, I can't say, hey, get prepared, because we're all going to land in a big pile of gold, silver, cash. It's, hey, we're all going to land in a big pile of shit. And I'd rather have you land in that wearing the proper boots than to land in that big pile of shit barefoot, right? Shit, it's the fan. It is here. It is upon us. And you need to be prepared. And by helping others, you're spreading a positive message about a negative event that has occurred. We are not the evil bastards that cause shit to hit the fan. We are not the sick motherfuckers saying, hey, drink Jim Jones juice, it's good for you. We're saying and trying to say as loud as we can, think for yourself. Anyways, that's, yeah, it's sad to hear that Vention is not doing well. But like I said, he and many others of you have influenced me in a very positive fashion and given me words of encouragement to continue what it is that I do, and that is speak about freedom and liberty, the need for self-preservation and to protect humanity itself, our belief systems and our culture, our fundamental beliefs, you know, natural philosophy. So good luck to you, buddy, and I'll see you on the other side. For now, though, let us continue. We've got Red Pill Files with a $5 super chat donation. He says, John, Cat Turd says the FBI are arresting undercover FBI at the fake FBI rally. Oh, yeah. I think you're referring to the fake rally that was held over the weekend. You know, a lot of people believe that the hey, what the hell is going on with the January 6th hostages? Like, these are hostages. These are Americans being held hostage by the government of Washington, D.C. They're being held in a political prison, a gulag, but I like to call it the Bastille, after the French Bastille, where political prisoners were held until the people rose up and freed them and destroyed the destructive government that was trying to destroy France. Anyways, apparently on Saturday, this event, which was trying to attract Trump supporters, patriots to it, for the right reasons that those people would attend it, but that there was a trap set there. And President Trump even said this is a trap to make patriotic Americans look bad. Apparently, they arrested a gun-toting government agent who then pulled out a badge and showed it to the other police officers, basically saying, hey, don't arrest me. I'm one of you guys. So yeah, you know, holy shit. What is this? Oh, this is from John. I can't read this. John, my brother, I can't even talk about who he is and what he is. We've got insiders, folks, interesting people with connections. This network, this Prepared Mind Network, the R Syndicate, has got people in all walks of life. And I feel blessed that, and John, thank you for watching, by the way, because he just sent a message with regard to me mentioning Vention. Unless he answered the email that I sent him. Anyways, it just came through. We got people on the inside that I get a lot of very valuable, useful information about what's happening. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. But anyways, thank you very much, John. I appreciate it and all the support. And we'll talk more later, brother. Let me get over here to JJ, who's an inside connection into what the fuck is going on in Northern California. Anyways, JJ says this, Jenny Jen says this, John, I want to say, I went to see Toby Keith last night. I'll never smoke weed with Willie again. Anyways, Jenny is a friend of mine back from Northern California, my Northern California days, which weren't that long ago. And said this, went to see Toby Keith last night. He made a comment about how we were obviously conservative Americans because he didn't see anyone wearing masks. He featured several service members. It was an amazing show. Folks, Toby Keith is a great entertainer. I think a terrific human being. He's supported the military. He's had a colorful career, a great artist, funny as fuck, and an interesting gentleman. And I'm glad, Jen, that you got to go see him and have a good time and get a real strong flavor, right, of what America used to be and what America may be in the future, can be and should be. That is free, a free America. And thank you always for the support you have for this channel. And go give Lucas a hard time if you would. I talked to him today for quite a bit, about 20 minutes or so. And yeah, he loves hearing from you guys when you find him. Anyways, we got a $3 super sticker from Two Owls again. Thank you so much, Two Owls. So many of you support this channel and everything we talk about. Folks, after 2 fucking hours, after 2 hours and 15 minutes, we still have 756 people in here listening and wondering what the hell is going on and what's coming next. And there's so much to talk about. There is really, I mean, indeed, so much to talk about. Oh, pardon me. We've got Sally Sue with a $4.99 super chat donation. Said, I had a conversation recently and was surprised to hear my friends' plan for SHTF was to steal from others. So Sally Sue says her friend's plan, right? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Those items come with a plan, but the plan was to go steal those items. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. She says, this concerns me, especially since he has an idea of my own plans to be prepared. This is alarming, folks, that our own friends and our own family could turn on us. And indeed, in a state of shambles, this country, while people are hungry, number one, sick, scared, injured, angry, because when you get shit taken from you, when you get hurt, when you are scared, one of our defense mechanisms when in a bad situation is fight or flight. Flight is fear. Fight is anger. That the people that we know and love, who know and love us now, could become scared, injured, sick, weakened, and their instinct could turn to fight as a compensatory mental perspective. And they could become violent towards us. People we know, people we love, people we once trusted. And it is a very strong potential. So we used to do this a lot more, and I wish I had time to do more of it. But a scenario, you as you are going to get a scenario, a nice one. It's not a pretty one. It's not one I like to think about because the answer that I have doesn't make me happy. And that is, what if family members and friends came to us in SHTF after knowing not only what we think, but themselves having come to the conclusion that they need to have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense. And they come to us and look at us as a source of the things they need, and that they would be willing to act in a violent manner towards us to steal from us. Now, they have that attitude. Are they going to only turn it to others and go hurt and steal others? Basically become marauders? And could they turn that focus on us? And what are we to think of them as they walk towards us? With a false smile? With a gun tucked in their trousers? Could they come to us and pretend to be sick or injured, tired, and then do harm to us when we least expected it? What is your response to any of those types of scenarios? It's for some folks. I don't think for all, but for some, that's going to be a potential. A potential. Are you prepared to deal with those consequences? The consequences of not your decisions, but theirs. The consequence, not of your action, but their inaction. They didn't get prepared. You know, I expect strangers, of course, to act stupid and come off, the wall. But what about people I know? Would they want to come to my bunker and ransack it, thinking that they could get down here and get into my shit and sustain their lives? I sure hope they don't think that. I sure hope they don't plan on that kind of action. Not good, folks. All right. It looks like here at about the 2.5 hour mark, we are all done. We're all out of super chat questions. This has been a very exciting, it has been also illuminating to have these discussions once again at the zoo. It's YouTube, it's Patreon, all combined together. What is going on in this world, folks? Well, the best way I can put it most succinctly is to say shit has hit the fan. Shit has hit the fan. I pray you're prepared. And I want to thank you for supporting the network directly at Patreon, indirectly at YouTube, by sharing these videos, these video links with others who need to get prepared on their own behalf. You can go to thepreparedmind.club, our own website, thepreparedmind.club. You can buy what you need. Right? You can get a VPN, a virtual private network, to protect your identity, your location, your computer system from attacks. You can get long-term food storage. You can get water filtration, and boy, do I recommend that one. And you can get, folks, solar panels, little solar batteries to charge up to run your electronic devices, up to and including running small refrigerators or small freezers in the event of a power outage. Depends on how many watts you need, and I recommend 1,000 watts. I like 1,000 watts of power through solar panels. It's nothing is perfect, folks, but something is better than nothing, especially when they kill the power. Do you have food stored up? Do you have ammunition? Do you have freedom seed spreaders? Freedom seeds. It's one of our little codes. Right? Do you have the things you need? You can get body armor at the preparedmind.club. Get what you need. Get it now. Get it ahead of time. Right? When the hurricane's upon you, you're not going to get over to the old Home Depot and get some plywood and fix things. You're screwed. You've been caught. So get prepared now, folks. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Semper Fi means always faithful. Godspeed to you. To those you love, get prepared, folks. And we'll be back tomorrow morning bright and early. And if you can, come to Patreon. If not, you've still got us here at YouTube. But do your best to help others. It'll make you feel good. Start with a smile. Go from there. And I'll see you again very soon.